matin. Vous avez laissé vos occupations et vous avez préféré être ici avec nous. On vous remercie beaucoup. Je voudrais juste un peu commencer avec le housekeeping. Pour les toilettes, à la réception, lorsque vous entrez là, à votre gauche, il y a les toilettes des dames. Et de l'autre côté de l'entrée, il y a les toilettes des hommes. Et puis, autre chose, je voudrais dire, on va utiliser les langues anglais et français, parce que, bon, parmi nos enfants, il y en a qui sont confortables en anglais. Donc, on va essayer d'accommoder tout le monde. Et puis, merci beaucoup. On vous a montré un peu des short vidéos de coopératives, quelques coopératives qui marchent déjà à travers le monde. Et c'est ce que nous sommes en train de construire en ce moment. I wanted to say that we will use both languages, English and French, to accommodate everyone. As you entered, on your left, there are toilets for ladies, and on the other side of the reception, there are men's toilets. And so I think, our meeting is supposed to finish at 12. We will do our best to respect the time so that we can give you your afternoon off to do what you planned. I would like to call the chairman to start the presentation about the coopérative. Je vais appeler notre chairman pour commencer à vous présenter notre coopérative. Je ne me suis pas présenté, mon nom c'est Edin Cheka. Je suis le secrétaire de notre coopérative. So my name is Edin Cheka. I'm the secretary for the cooperative. Okay. So I'll pass the voice to Mr. Mark Mpassa, our chairman.
Merci beaucoup. Bonjour encore et merci d'être venu à cette journée d'information de la coopérative, la future banque des Congolais en Afrique australe et dans le monde. Merci. Nous allons essayer de, comme il a dit, d'être à temps. Nous sommes en retard de 4 minutes. On s'en excuse. Et nous allons nous rattraper afin que nous puissions terminer à midi. La coopérative CoopCongo a été aussi inspirée comme dans les anciens temps. Il y a, si vous lisez, pour ceux qui sont des chrétiens, parce qu'ici on accepte tout le monde, dans la Bible, si vous allez à Genèse, c'est le commencement, Genèse. Donc là aussi vous allez lire à partir du chapitre 37 jusqu'au chapitre 50, où il y a l'histoire de Joseph. C'est une histoire très intéressante, mais au fait, ça parle de la structure d'une communauté. Comment structurer la communauté et comment épargner. How to save in good times, in order to prepare for difficult ones. CoopCongo, donc cette structure-là de Genèse a inspiré beaucoup de gens à travers le monde. Si vous allez dans l'Internet, vous cherchez coopérative, place Joseph, Genesis, vous allez voir, il y a beaucoup de gens qui s'en ont inspiré. Donc CoopCongo est donc une coopérative financière pour les Congolais en Afrique du Sud. Et nous sommes membres de NACFISA. L'Afrique du Sud est un pays très organisé et si vous voulez entretenir des entreprises légales, vous devez faire partie d'un certain couloir. Okay, I'm speaking French. In South Africa is so organized that whenever you need to run businesses, you need to identify yourself with a certain channel in law or legal channels. So in that way, CoopCongo is a member of NACFISA, which is the National Association of Financial Institutions in South Africa. So that is the basis from which we are operating, with an act of parliament that guides all the cooperatives in South Africa. So we want to be that financial institution for the Congolese people in Southern Africa and the world. So there is no limit in our membership. So our agenda will be very short, just to talk about what is a financial cooperative, what is the trend with the financial cooperatives in the world, what is the trend for financial cooperatives in South Africa, how does a cooperative work, and why CoopCongo? What are the benefits that members will have in CoopCongo? How to become a member? What is our vision, our roadmap, and how to keep in touch with CoopCongo? Then later on, once we finish, please do not interrupt me for now. Once we finish all the presentations, then we will have a question and answer sessions. That is for us to keep in time, because previous experiences got us really off the time by 3 to 4 hours. So this time we said no, we will go through the presentation and then people will be free to ask questions up to any time. So what is a cooperative, a financial cooperative? According to the International Cooperative Alliance, it is just a very, very autonomous enterprise, association of people that willingly want to resolve their needs or their issues. And those issues may be economic, may be social, cultural, but in that joint enterprise, it must be democratically controlled. That is the definition as per the International Cooperative Alliance. So there are some features that we will find in most cooperatives. One of them is the common bond. The common bond will make the cooperative to work, because people will network, they will know each other in a certain way. So it is imperative that a common bond must exist. In South Africa, when you call the Reserve Bank and say, I want to start a cooperative, first question, which community? That will be the first question they will ask you. Which community are you? If you say it is this community, they will say, are you organized? Are you? So those were the questions they asked us at the Reserve Bank. If you are organized, then start. Say, no, I need permission from you to start. They say, no. Why do you want permission to uplift yourself? It is for you. Why do you want us to permit you to uplift yourself? It doesn't make sense. You start uplifting yourself. When you meet a certain criteria, then we can come and you can come and talk to us. For the common bond is at the center. So the financial cooperative has different names around the world. You can see credit union, SACCO, and so on. Also, the financial cooperative wants to bring financial inclusion and access. A lot of people are outside of the mainstream economy. They don't have access to banks, they don't have access to credit. So one way of bringing those people into the mainstream economy is through the cooperative, whereby people will save regularly. They will then be able to get loans later, and those loans will not be at aggressive rates like at the bank. So they will be at community-based rates. So those loans and financial advice will then help assist the members to grow into their community. So the cooperative is also run by members that are known. So some people know me, Some people will know other directors, so that network will make it that we will have trust among us in the community. The big difference between cooperatives and banks is that whatever we generate as interest, profit, we will in a certain way plow it back into the community. So that is the other advantage that we have to have a cooperative. So, and also we have to go through our cooperative must align with the generally accepted cooperative principles. And at the center of that is the common bond. Because if we know each other, then we know which risks to take and which ones not to take. And cooperatives can become very, very highly competitive against, you know, those they call machonistas, and other private institutions. You get calls, no, hey, we approved you for 200,000. So the cooperative can be highly competitive against all those type of institutions. Let's talk about the trend of financial cooperatives in the world. As you've seen, since the times of Genesis with Joseph, the idea of organizing the community so that you cater for adverse times has been there. So cooperatives have developed in the world, in Europe, in America, in Asia, and in Africa. Even in Congo, we had cooperatives there. The only difference that we never managed those cooperatives in Congo. The people that managed it and us, there is a big gap, so we don't know anything about cooperatives. In Kenya, in Africa, Kenya is the first country in terms of cooperatives. If you land in Kenya, just look around. You'll see all the mini taxis. They call them matatus. If you pay attention, you'll see it's written there which cooperative financed it. All of them. They are very proud of it to say it is the cooperative of Kukata that financed this minibus. So they are very proud. And in the world, we have a lot of cooperatives, and South Africa is in Africa around the 6 or 7. So it's far from Kenya, far from Senegal and Ghana. If we look at the banking system in South Africa, there is 3 big chunks. You have your cooperative banks. We have the mutual cooperative banks. In the cooperative banks, we have what is called CFIs, Cooperative Financial Institutions, like CoopCongo is a cooperative financial institution. Along the way, we can become a cooperative bank. That is the first category. The second one is the mutual banks. Who knows any mutual bank in South Africa? Me. You all know it. The infamous VBS was a mutual bank. And commercial banks, I believe all of us have accounts, so there are plenty, so those are public entities. So we have NACFISA, which is the National Association, which has a mandate from agencies of government for them to develop cooperatives in South Africa. That is our chance, because we have a way of getting help from government. Although they want to help black people previously disadvantaged, but there is no way to distinguish in terms of cooperative. Once we are registered here, they are bound to help us because we are also member of NACFISA. The help that they give mostly is training and institutional support. And it is a lot of money. Each member of us will be trained free by NACFISA. Each director will be trained free by NACFISA. That is money, so we will not pay for it. So NACFISA is mostly with us. I see the CEO is supposed to be here. I don't know if he's late also. Now, the banking legislations that we have in South Africa, if you see on your left, right? No, on your right. On your right, it's the cooperatives. So under the cooperatives, we have the CFIs, which like CoopCongo is a CFI. And the common bond, you can see it's required. And the CFIs need 200 members and 100,000 rand. If you organize yourselves in such a way that you have 200 registered members and 100,000 in the bank account, they have their own way of checking their members, Reserve Bank checks, to see maybe you faked those 200 members. So they have their own way of checking. Then you submit your application and they give you the license. Then later on, because with the CFI, there are limited transactions that you can run. So you need to reach a deposit of 1 million. Then they'll give you a second license, which is a cooperative bank. A cooperative bank is a bank as much as you go to FNB or to ABSA or to Standard Bank. It's the same as a cooperative bank. The only difference is that cooperative banks trade only with members, and the banks trade with anyone. So that's the only difference. So we can have anything you're thinking of a bank, we can have it as a cooperative bank. And higher if you want to, if you have money, you can also start the second category in the middle, that is mutual banks. For mutual banks like VBS, you only need 7 people that can put together 10 million and they can submit for that license and get it. So a mutual bank is a bank that caters for organizations. So if we have les anciens du Collège Boboto, les anciens de lycée, de l'Institut Imara, so those organizations can then save their money into a mutual bank. Ou bien les gens qui ont, those that have the stock fund. So if they have money, they can save at a mutual bank, and that organization will be a member of the mutual bank. It will be a member of VBS. That's why you saw in Limpopo a lot of burial societies, a lot of community organized organizations. They were saving their money in VBS. It was not individuals, it was organizations, because those organizations were members of VBS. Then the third category is your commercial banks, that the way we know them. Those trade with the public. So how does a cooperative work? The same as for CoopCongo, we have the General Assembly, which is a meeting of all members. In terms where normally we have to meet once a year, minimum, in an ordinary meeting, but we can have extraordinary meetings. In ordinary times where there is no General Assembly, then there is a board of directors to represent them. Like you mostly know what they call the top 6. So it's the board of directors, but we are not 6, we are more than that. At CoopCongo, there is 15 members of the board. And then down you have your employees in green. So those are the 3 main structures that you'll find everywhere. In between, we need committees. Those committees will have specific roles. And committees can be made up of any type of people. It can be members, it can be directors, it can even be external specialists that we hire to be advising us in committees. So you'll have education committee, saving committee, loan committee, membership committee, and a very, very important and crucial committee, which is the control and supervisory, you understand? Committee that will control and advise the cooperative. That one also can have external people who are specialists into cooperative matters. Who does not know Stokvel? So everyone knows the Stokvel or Likelem. The cooperative is compared to the Likelem or the Stokvel. The Stokvel is outside of the mainstream economy. It's not registered anywhere in the stream of the economy reporting to the Reserve Bank or reporting to the DTI, the Department of Trade and Industry or the Department of Economy. They don't report there. So they are outside of the mainstream economy. It happens that you might have a number of members. They will be putting the money together, and that same amount, if it is 500 Rand or 5,000 Rand, the same amount will be going around. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5,000 going around. 5,000. You only have 5,000. There is 40 billion of Rand in South Africa in Stokvel. More than 40 billion. There is a lot of research. If you look at the University of Cape Town, University of Pretoria, they all talk about over 40 billion into Stokvel. That money sits into banks. It does not generate interest because banks are clever. They say, there is no white here. The stupid black people will put their money together, and let's tell them that because it is a Stokvel account, it has no interest. So you putting the money there, it bears no interest, but they take that money, they use it. And when you come to get your money, they give you your money, no interest. So they make you a consumer. How? You, at the end of the year, you are a Stokvel member of ShopRite. You go buy a truck of goods for December. You buy, you give them your money. Gone. 40 billions going into consumerism. So the government of South Africa, it's not an initiative from Malema or whatever. No, it's lying. The government of South Africa wanted black people to have banks. And they know banks belong to the white. How do we get our people to move from Stokvel, 40 billion, into the mainstream economy? So the easiest way is to allow them to have cooperatives. In the cooperative then, they will be part of the mainstream economy. It will be part of trade and industry, or it will be part of the Reserve Bank stream of agencies. Members will put money together. They will have transactions. They will pay interest on those transactions. At the end, they will increase their bulk of money that they're putting together because they now have interest coming. Then at the end, in December, instead of going and buying groceries, they will share the interest that has been created from their own investment. Yes, they will still have 5,000 remaining into the account, but the dividend that is created by that 5,000 with the transactions is now shared. That's the difference. You still have the 5,000, but you can use your dividend. So it is turning those consumers to become investors. How does it work with the cooperative? So we will have a membership fee. We have of 1,300 Rand as a start. So it's 1,002 plus 100 Rand admission fee once off. So the membership fee will serve for administrative resources in the cooperative and for us to run the Cooperative Bank's operations. Remember this left column. We'll come back to it later. Then we also have to buy shares to be part of the company. because it is an enterprise. We pay for those shares, and the shares constitute our capital, the 5,000 in the middle I was talking about. That is what will generate our interest. So our journey now is that we are recruiting members. Members are paying the annual fees and they are buying shares. Once we reach the 200 members and the 100,000 capital in the bank, then the Reserve Bank will apply for the license, and they will give us the CFR certificate that will allow us to now have products for our members. Now we cannot, by law, have products. Those products are saving accounts, just like you have in the bank. Check accounts, 32 days account. We can create as many products as our members want. If they want, if they say, no, let's create a product whereby if you put 10,000 rand, within 3 months you can get 5%, so be it. The members agree on that, that's what it will be. So it is the members that decide, not the shareholders, but the members who are also customers. We can have credit products, which will be people, members that want to run businesses, that want to pay for studies. So we will have short-term loans. A mother that is a member and selling bread at the corner, if she wants to expand and say, no, I see that I'm selling 200 loaves per day, but I don't have the capacity. Every time I have to run, so I have no space for the 200 loaves. Can I have 3,000 rand? Then I can, yes, because you are a member. There is no asking of where is your pay slip. We will just check. Are you a member in good standing? Have you paid this? Have you paid that? And other conditions. Remember the loan commission. The loan commission will decide on what will be the process for people to get loans. We can also have community, those called community products, whereby we can give like medical assistance. It's not medical insurance, it's assistance. We can also give funeral assistance, we can give study loans, and so on. Those can be our community products, but it will be, once again, the members to decide. So in that journey, we can see what's happening now is that we are just recruiting members. We cannot go beyond. See other processes down there, products that we have to design. We cannot do it for now. By law, we are not allowed. So why CoopCongo? You've seen that we can create a common capital, and solid one, so that it can help us in the future. We want to create that movement of economic and social solidarity. They say, no, Africans live in communities, but now we are more and more becoming like Europeans. So we want to bring that Ubuntu in the economic stream, so let's economically and socially have that solidarity. As CoopCongo, we also want to work together. Yes, a lot of people tried many type of community businesses, including myself. So we failed one way or another, and we learned why we failed. So we know that. And it's not a reason for us not to try again. Some people we see rich today, they tried 1,000 times before they now became richer and worldwide known investors. So the big difference now in this enterprise is that we will work according to norms that are not in our community, for our own community, Congolese community. We say, no, if the brother disappears with my 500 rand. You know that brother of mine, you know that brother of my village, he took the money, so there's nothing we can do. No, the norms are those of the Reserve Bank. And this country has a justice system that the world trusts. So on those bases, that we have the Reserve Bank on our back, we have the justice system on our back, that help us to try again with different setup. So if your money disappears, you will have the justice system. Before even the justice system, NACFISA will be there for you. The Cooperative Development Bank Agency will be there for you. There is what is called the Prudential Authority here in South Africa. All those are agencies that are looking after the well-being of investors that are working in cooperatives. So why CoopCongo? Because together we can use opportunities that are available to us. We have opportunities within the community that we can exploit. People eat every day, people move every day, people build houses, they do all kinds of things, so we can use those opportunities so that we can better ourselves. Then we can generate wealth for our community in general, but also for individual members to benefit. So what will be those benefits? First, just for coming here, it's because they say, hey, there's a Congolese meeting. So you are proud of being Congolese, having something that's happening in the community. So we will participate in that mutual assistance. We will try advance interest of our community. And that will create a small social safety net for ourselves. Those were intangible benefits. You can't see them. So you can just hear them, you can feel them, but you can't see them. So we have tangible benefits. The cooperative itself. We will have offices, we will have people working. So we will identify with that building. When you come here, I think you were amazed. This belongs to two people. The whole building here. It's two Italians. So if one day we can have a building, we will also be proud. We will have shares into the cooperative. We will have events like this one. You can see it. It's an event from the cooperative. So those are the benefits where we can learn in those events and share our experiences. We will also have services in line with our community needs. The saving accounts, your loan accounts, your support plans. We can have study loans in the future. In the community, there are people that cannot access banking facilities. They don't have bank accounts, or they have bank accounts where they exploit them, or they use third-party bank accounts, so all kinds of things. Here, there is no limit. Whether you are a short-term visitor, meaning you are coming from, you are a Congolese, two conditions. You are a Congolese, and you abide by the interest, our constitution, you are allowed to be in the cooperative. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter your status. If you are a visitor coming from America, coming from Congo, you land here,